Hi everybody and welcome to the GrianaigCreations podcast channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching this. This is episode 92 and my name is Kirsty. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm coming to you from Paisley, which does not know what it's doing weather-wise. One minute it's really cloudy and dark, next minute the sun is coming out. So off the top of the bat, the windows are open. You're going to hear seagulls and crows and magpies and cars and dogs barking. You're going to hear a lot of background noise. I'm not sorry about that. It's really warm in this room. We are not in a heat wave by any means, thank God. But our living room windows are really large and this room pretty much acts like a greenhouse. And I didn't want to lump everything upstairs because I am lazy. Let's be honest here, I am lazy and I didn't want to do that. So we're sticking it out down here. I feel like we've got a hair on me. And yeah, you might also notice that I am recording in a slightly different position. And that is because we moved the living room around again. I swear, we've been in the flat over a year now and we still can't get this room to quite how we want it. You think it's a big enough room, and then the amount of furniture we have, we're like, yeah, it's actually really awkward. So, said seagull. So yeah, I'm recording in a slightly different position and I've got some really cool things around me. Don't judge me for any of the DVDs you're seeing. These are not mine. These are all Scott's DVDs. All my DVDs are on the reverse side of the room. Now we buy DVDs that are like Blu-rays and stuff. A lot of my DVDs, because I didn't have a Blu-ray player, are all just standard DVDs, so they're all on that side of the room. And yeah, you don't care about my DVD like our DVD collection, but I just wanted to kind of be like, things have moved around again. They might continue to move around again because we can't quite figure out how we want this room to be. Yeah, I'm gonna show you some of my recent purchases, because this guy here is one of my favorite recent purchases because I've decided to really come into my own person, like really be who I want to be and how I want to be. I think it's really difficult in this day and age to be your true authentic self. And I thought when I came out as non-binary that was me being my true authentic self, when in actual fact there's more to it. I am Wiccan and I love everything Halloween. And I kind of want my home to reflect that. I want my safe space to show that. And so I've been buying a lot of Halloween things that are just awesome. And this guy here, this is a pillow, believe it or not, is one of my recent purchases. I mean, look at him, he's huge. I really need to cut this label off. He's so squishy as well. Like, he's so warm. But yeah, I've been buying some bits and pieces when I can. To make my home more me. And thankfully Scott's really fine with that. Like, he loves the pieces, like we buy them together. Like, he's bought ones, I've bought ones, we've bought ones together. And I've got a couple of pieces like in my little nook that really just kind of make me feel like I'm really becoming my true authentic self. So yeah. All of that to say, hi! I wanted to record yesterday, but I had a migraine. I don't often get migraines, so when I do get them, they absolutely floor me. Not to say that migraines don't floor other people, like Scott gets them really badly, my mum gets them really badly. But I've probably just been overdoing it with work. I've done quite a bit of overtime these last 2 weeks now, and that baby seagull's moved around the front of the house. I don't know if you can just hear it squawing. I might have to close the windows. is just constant. Like this seagull at work goes from the front to the back, and once you think you've got peace, it will just come back. What was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah, I had a migraine. I think I've just overdone it with work recently and a few other things. And so I'm feeling so much better today, and I thought, what a perfect time to record, because it has been a while. I was doing the Tour de Fleece vlog, which some people may not be interested in. Some people don't spin, they have no intention to learn, and they're just not interested in it. And so I didn't record a proper podcast during that time. And now just seemed like a really good time to record. Scott's away out playing golf. He's out with one of his friends. And I just thought, I'm feeling better. I've got the time. Let's record. Okay, so I feel like I don't have a whole ton to show you. Even though it's been about, what, 5? Minimum 4 weeks. Maximum maybe 6 weeks. And I just don't have that much to show for it. But the things I have been working on, this sentence isn't going to make much sense when I say it. I've been fairly monogamous on some things. Doesn't make much sense, does it? When there's like multiple things and I'm saying the word monogamous. But you might see what I mean when I at least pick one of them up. So I'm going to try and split things out like I did in my last podcast into knitting, crochet and spinning. I don't have a ton of crochet to show you, but what I do have I'm really quite happy with, and I've really enjoyed getting back into crochet. So let's get started with spinning. Let's get that out of the way first. And I have quite a bit to show. So as you know, Tour de Fleece has now been and gone, and I had a couple of projects that I wanted to work on, and I started by doing this one. I could be wrong. I'm depending on my memory here, which is not the best. Anyway, we'll roll with it. So I had the singles spun up already before Tour de Fleece, and I thought Tour de Fleece would be the perfect time to ply them together so that I can count the plied meterage as part of Tour de Fleece. So this one was 2 bobbins plied together, and then this one here was what was left on 1 bobbin that I then used a plying tool. I recently learned we shouldn't be calling it Andean plying tool. I used a plying tool to do another 2 ply, and I'm really, really happy with the finished results. There is approximately 1,167 meters in these 2 skeins, and I'm really kind of blown away by that meterage. Like, I knew those bobbins were really full, but I didn't think they were that full. Oh, that's been blown out something awful. Look at the colour of my hand, or lack thereof. So yeah, you're not getting the best true colour representation there because it's blowing it out, but it's the best I'm gonna get. So it's the same on both, like nothing much different. There's browns, purples, reds, greens, orange, yellow, pretty much every colour. Maybe not black, there's no black in it, but there's a lot of brown, and quite a bit of purple, or purple hues. Some green, some orange, blue, yellow, orange. I think I said orange. But yeah, I haven't put a Tyvek band on these ones because I only just brought these back downstairs. These were put away, so I will get a Tyvek band. So picture those things you get at festivals. The really annoying ones that you have to really struggle to get off. These things. So that is a whole mix. Oh, sorry, I just kicked the tripod. So this is a whole mix of fibres. There's merino, there's corn fibre, there's silk, there's sari silk, there's Corriedale, there's BFL, there's pretty much a ton of fibres in here. And somewhere, I have an itchy nose now, somewhere in my setup I've got all the little cards to say all the fibre that's in here. So when I find that, I will put all that information on my Tyvek band and then put them approximate meterage, and then I can put these back into storage because I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with these two yet. The hope was with this combo spin that I would have enough for like a sweater, a cardigan, something along those lines. But I still have a good amount of fibre for the same combo spin, but just going through the colours, so like greens and reds. So I've still got quite a bit of spinning to do for this whole big project. Okay, next up we got these two. They look very different. That's because they've been spun differently. So this was a skein of Wish You Were Here. I have not written the name of who the fibre was. And I split the braid in half, spun one half as it was. I didn't divide it any further, but the other half I split into 3 and spun end to end so that I could get a fractal spin. And I'm really, really pleased with the results. I've not yet done the wraps per inch to find out, but I think this is a 4-ply, if not a light 4-ply. So that's that one. And then because I'm not very good and I don't weigh when I'm splitting my fibre, I had some fibre left on one bobbin, and from that I've done a chain ply, and that's what this is. There's only approximately 35 metres in this, which is absolutely fine, but I really, really love how this has turned out. But I'm really glad I didn't do the full braid of fibre as a chain ply. That seems to be my go-to as a chain ply. So I'm really, really happy I done a fractal spin. And on this one I've got approximately 729 metres. So that's that one. And then lastly, if that car alarm does not stop, I'm going to close the window. Lastly is this giant bump or braid or hank, whatever we're calling them, and the drape on this is like gonna be amazing. So this is 100% alpaca, and this was my big massive fibre bump that I got from Edinburgh Yarn Festival, but I don't know who it was from. I don't remember where I bought it. There was nothing on the packaging to say who the vendor was or anything like that. So I spun the bump from end to end. I didn't divide it, I didn't do anything. I knew there was different tones of blue in that bump, and I thought, what a great opportunity to do a chain ply so that it would become a gradient through the different tones. And that's exactly what this has turned out. So this is approximately 550 metres and it is 100% alpaca. And my plan for this, I need to find one that the meterage is going to work for this, because I literally don't have any other fibre, so it has to work with the meterage I've got. But I'm thinking like a wrap. I think that would be really, really gorgeous, like a wrap or a stole, whatever you want to call them. The alarm's going off and then stopping and then going off and then stopping. So I think that if because of how I've spun this up and how it's a gradient, that it's just going to look really, really good if you knit it from one end to the other. So that's the plan. I think though that this is going to be classed as a DK. I was aiming for a DK, so I'm not disappointed. You always think about what you could have done differently afterwards, and I obviously would have got more meterage had I done a 4-ply. So we're gonna see. I'm hoping I can find a really good shawl pattern for the meterage. The weight of the yarn does not bother me. Like, I've always been that person that if you look, sorry, I'm picking out vegetable matter. If you look at a pattern, it's just like, you must use 4-ply. Nah, I'll just make it with DK and it'll be bigger. It's fine. Oh, can't get this wee bit out. That's really going to annoy me because I'll not find it. There we go. So yeah, really happy with that. Okay, let's move on to knitting, but I'm going to stop the camera and close the windows because that car alarm is doing my head in. Silence! So I know I said we would come back into knitting, but I've decided that we're going to come back into crochet because I have so little of it that it just makes sense to jump into the smaller segment. So I, in my infinite wisdom of having a migraine, decided that, okay, back up. I recently joined the library in Paisley. I was a member of the library in my old town, but their selection was abysmal. We used to have the best library back in Inverclyde. And it was in this huge building. I have so many good memories of being in my old library when I was a kid and growing up. And then the council, being the council, decided that the building was too big and therefore cost too much money and that they needed to cut costs, yada yada yada. So they moved it into a much smaller building, therefore they had to put their books into storage, or they sold them, they gave them to other libraries, who knows. So my old library was brilliant, the new one, crap, and I just stopped going. I only went so that I could reactivate my account so that I could listen to the audiobooks, because that was the only thing that they done better, was that they started getting audiobooks and ebooks. And then that was fine. So I'd lived here for a year, I was still on my old library account, when one day I tried to log in to listen to my audiobook and my account had been deactivated. And I was like, I'm not going back down to reactivate my account when I could just sign up here in Paisley. And I'm really glad I did, because even though the library in Paisley is currently in a temporary location, whilst the original venue is totally revamped. Like, it's under, if it's not multi-million, it's at least in the £1 million revamp and refurbishment. And it's the library, the museum, and the I don't want to say astronomy tower because that is not right, but there is definitely a telescope in there, because Scott and I have been up there and we have looked through that telescope. Deborah, if she's watching, she'll know. Like, she'll know the word. Observation tower? No, that's not right either. Observatory. Maybe? Anyway, so even though it's currently in a temporary location and it's literally just porta cabins put together, that library is so much better than my library back in my old town. And I got a couple of books out, all knitting related, because I literally only had 10 minutes to browse before they shut for lunch. We didn't know what their hours were, and we turned up literally as they were about to go for lunch. And it took maybe like 20 minutes to like fill out the forms and get us set up with accounts, because Scott didn't have an account either. So I got 3 knitting books out, and one of them was Fair Isle Crochet. Now, for the life of me, I can't figure the book out. There is very minimal instructions, no pictures. Like, there's maybe 2 pictures, and it's stuff I already know, like how to change colour in crochet. But the instructions are not good. Like, really not good. And I tried, I really tried. I went on to YouTube, I tried to find videos, and it just wasn't working for me. And I was just like, right, I really want to try some sort of colour work with crochet. And that's when I was just scrolling around looking at patterns, and I found one for mosaic crochet. Again, something I had not tried before. And this is my progress since yesterday. It's really not very much. I literally done I say 3 rows, but it's not just 3 rows, it's 2. I think I've done 8 rows in total. There's 10 rows there. I done 2 rows today. I done 8 rows in total yesterday. And this is what it looks like so far. And this is just, excuse me, like a wee sample. Like, I'm not gonna have a ton of yarn. Like, these are literally just 2 balls of yarn I grabbed to try the Fair Isle crochet book. And that really did not work out very well. So I just decided that, you know what, I've got the 2 balls of yarn, I've got the crochet hook, I'm in my bed, I'm comfortable, let's just look online, see if we can find something. And that's when I found this mosaic crochet. So it's free on someone's blog. Let me get up the details. So it is, oh, I hate that font, sorry, no offense to the person that done this. Leela Boren, BJORNS. Is that, I think that's meant to be an R. Leela Bajorn's Crochet World, and it's the Naya Mosaic Blanket. And then it's got Infinity version, so I'm not really sure if there's like a different version. And sorry, I take that back, because I don't know. You can buy the pattern, you can buy it on their Etsy, or if you can access Ravelry, you can get it on their Ravelry account. Let's see, so here is what it looks like. So it's really gorgeous. I think it's really nice, and it seems user friendly, like beginner friendly, because I've never done mosaic crochet before, and I think I probably picked the 2 weirdest colours. But I literally just picked up 2 yarns that were kicking around the spare room, and these were the first 2 that came to hand. And do you know, the only reason I went to do this is because when I went to pick up my crochet granny stripe blanket, there was no yarn in the bag and there was no crochet hook in the bag, and I didn't want to come downstairs. That's the only reason I started working on this project, and I'm really glad I did. I'm gonna keep going. Like, I've put 2 rows on it today. Not much, obviously, but like, I'm really happy with that. So that is the first project, and then the second crochet project is exactly the project I literally just talked about. So Scott was looking after me yesterday, bless his little cotton socks, and he ended up going out to get a couple of pieces that I needed from the shops. And one of them, I'm not gonna lie, was a ready meal. I really was not in the mood to cook yesterday. I just wanted to literally be in bed the whole day. And so he went out and he picked up a wee ready meal for me to eat. So I cooked that in the microwave, and I sat in here and I ate. And because I was in here, I pulled out the big ball of yarn, and I found the crochet hook that was not with the big ball of yarn. So I was kind of like, is that the right size? And it makes my heart so happy to say that I am working on my crochet granny stripe blanket again. It made me very warm yesterday, so I really look forward to the colder weather so that I can work on this. But I put 6 and a bit rows on it. I've got my project progress keeper there, and I'm not even kidding, this just made me so happy yesterday and so comforted. I've been really listening to a lot of audiobooks recently, and that's all I wanted to do yesterday if I wasn't genuinely just lying down in bed with my eye mask on, the curtains shut, when I had some energy to work and I wasn't doing the mosaic crochet. Like, I literally done 8 rows and I was like, this is too complicated for my very sore brain. I just got this out, and I've still got a good amount to go. Like, I laid it out on my bed to see like the length that I've got against the length of our king size bed, and I've still got a good amount to go. But I guess everyone must have that one project that just makes their heart sing. Like, I was literally in the process of saying so happy, and then I just went with sing, so that's why it sounded really weird. But yeah, after this, after I've edited and like put the clips onto my laptop, edited it, getting it loaded onto YouTube, I'm just gonna get comfy on the couch or in this chair. I need a wee bit more room, and I'm just gonna work on this and listen to my audiobook. That's all I want to do, and it's all I'm gonna do. I'm not cleaning today. I don't want to. I need to, but I don't want to, so I'm not gonna. So yeah, that is my crochet projects. I'm hoping, I've got more yarn, but I'm hoping that this will be enough. I'm a little bit skeptical that this will be enough to do the length I need it. Maybe I should just start looking at all the other balls of yarn and making a wee, making another magic knot ball. Hey, you, stop falling over. Because I've got all the like, well, they're on the other side. I've got like the mini balls from Opal still. Like, there's tons kicking around. There's some upstairs, there's some in that unit, there's some in that unit over there. Like, they are literally all over this flat. Okay, crochet done. I only have one finished knitting object to show off, and you guys didn't even know it was a blip on my to make radar, because I didn't know it was a blip on my to make radar. So my dear friend Deborah of Diary of a Physicist Farm Gal, I said it right that time, who's also Doc Firewoman on Instagram, she, on part of their podcast, can't remember who they were doing this with. Sorry. Oh, I can't remember the name of the podcast that she was doing this in line with. They had decided they were going to do a knit along for one of Romy Hill designs. I know it's definitely Romy Hill. No, it's just Romy Hill. Sorry, designs by Romy Hill. No, designs by Romy. I can't read. This is the Autonomy cowl bandana. And you're meant to knit it in green. I don't have any green. It's not my favourite colour. But you can knit it in whatever colour you want, but as part of the knit along, they were saying, like, if you've got green yarn, do it in green. It's still to be blocked. I knit it with a sock blank, a double strand sock blank, so it's very squiggly. It really, really needs blocked for you to really kind of get the true look at it. But this is like a wee neckerchief. There is some lace work in the centre. It does fit. I'm not going to put it on because I've got earrings on. And I really, really like it. And I'm already thinking about different variations. There is a couple of variations in the pattern. I think this would benefit from stockinette stitch and not garter stitch, excuse me, personally. But I love not having to purl, so that was a plus. But I think also, especially because considering I used a sock blank, it's just too squiggly. Like, you can barely see the lace work. But again, this will really, really benefit once I have blocked it and the yarn has relaxed. The construction is really interesting, and again, this will really kind of pop once I've blocked it. But at the beginning of every row, there is little, let me see if I've got a sharper nail, there's like little yarn overs at the start of every row. And I got shown a shawl that's got that design, and they use blocking wires to catch every yarn over and kind of pull it away from the fabric when they were blocking it, so that you physically saw those loops as part of the design. I don't have blocking wires, and it is something I've been meaning to invest in. So I don't know if I'm going to hold off on blocking this until I get the blocking wires, or whether I will just pin out each individual yarn over, which means I'm going to need a lot of pins. So we will see. I'm trying to save money for Perth, all the whilst still buying Halloween stuff. And blocking wires just isn't quite at the top of my list, but I really want to get this properly finished, so I might just have to pin out every single loop. But I'm also thinking when I do that, I'm gonna block it like that. I'm gonna fold it in half and then catch both, like the yarn overs from each side in one pin. But we'll see, because otherwise I'm gonna have to, I'd need like 4 wires if I was to block it either that side up or that side up, because you've obviously got the 2 sides there and then the bottom triangle. So yeah, I definitely want to make more of these. I think these are great. I love the neckerchief style. I've got the brioche bandana cowl that I adore. So I can definitely see myself making more in this style, maybe even designing my own in this neckerchief style, because there's just something about this. It's not going to fall off. Like, if you put a nice pretty design on it like this one, like, it's such a simple lace motif, but yet it's just that little bit eye-catching, especially if it's blocked out properly. And personally, I just love throwing one of these on in winter. Like, whether it's to accessorise or actually to help keep you warm, I just think these are brilliant. Like, really, really brilliant. So keep your eyes peeled. I might make more of these. But yeah, this is my only finished object in the amount of time that I've not been recording. But the next project, I hope, will kind of explain why there's a lack of finished things and just progress in general. Oh, so many ends of yarn. Okay. I have got onto the body of my hooded shawl cardigan. So at the moment we're showing all 3 yarns. The solid purple on the top is one of the 100% British wools that I got on a cone from Woolly, let's see, woolyknit.com. and it's in the Foxglove colorway, and it is gorgeous. And then the yarn that is striped with is Unicorn Mane by Lovebug Yarns. And then this colour down here, the name is escaping me, like the colourway name. Alright, I had the tag. Where is it? Here we go. It is Fibre Punk, of course, Squid Ink. So that is this colour here. Let's see if I can smooth that out a little bit. So I have been putting a lot of my creative energy into this one, and I think I've stalled now because the purl rows are so big, and I'm really tempted to give Portuguese knitting a try, and I've also stalled on this because of the purling. I was physically hurting my hand. Like, I had a lot of discomfort, and I didn't want to get to the point where I actually injured myself because of this project. So that's the only reason this is kind of stalled out. Like, I managed to get through the short rows, because you do short rows to even out this V on the back. Like, so this is the front left hand side, and you have to do short rows on both sides to bring it down to an even line, and that's exactly now what's happening. It doesn't look like it because it's all scrunched up on one small needle, and that's the reason I've put it down for the longest time, is because it's so much purling. And normally I actually don't mind a bit of purling now. I used to hate it, but I think just the volume of purling was just really aggravating, like my thumb joint. Like, the pain was like, it wasn't just the thumb, that was the weird thing. So I'm gonna do like a test swatch and see if I can get the Portuguese knitting and see if that will help speed this project along, because I also really don't want it to affect my gauge by changing. So I don't want to just jump straight in on this. So I think if I do a test swatch to test that out and hopefully get the same gauge as this pattern, otherwise it's literally just going to be a long haul project and just do maybe like 1 or 2 rows a day every other day, in the hopes of not damaging my thumb, my wrist. I don't know, I'm not quite sure. Like, I definitely feel it in my thumb, but the pain is radiating out. But I still love it. I think this is brilliant. I can't wait for it to be finished. I feel like this is definitely like my aesthetic that I'm wanting to go towards, and I really just want a knitted cardigan to throw on. Everything else is jumpers and sweaters, and sometimes, especially if like my shoulder's really bad, I can't be bothered trying to get things up and over my head. So something to just throw on is really the way to go for me. So that is what has been taking up a lot of my time and my effort. And then if I needed something smaller, I have been working on this sock. It's not had a lot of progress. I don't know if you've seen it before. Like, I genuinely can't remember. I'm doing what's the name of it? My files. Let's see. Heel Tab for Short Socks by Amanda Stick. And it's exactly what it is. It is a heel tab for shorties. And these are for me. I don't think I've quite got them up to the length that I need them. I've always been really bad at cuff down socks and getting the correct length. And normally I always make them a wee bit too tight or far too loose. So I'll probably put a wee bit of effort into these in the next couple of days, really, because I'm getting very overwhelmed with the number of projects I actually have. Albeit I would still have the second one to go. But yeah, I just randomly started a sock because I think we were thinking of going a drive, and I wanted something for the car because I don't really knit socks for myself nowadays because I have so many pairs. I don't actually have that many pairs of shorty socks, so that's why I kind of done this, and I really wanted to try this tab out. But now here's the only problem I have. I need to sew down this edge. So to get the tab, you have to fold this on inside the sock to get the tab, and I have to sew that down the whole way around the sock. So that's going to be a pain in the ass, but it could be worth it. I don't know. Like, none of my other shorties have tabs and they're absolutely fine. So we'll see. But this yarn is Head Over Heels Colours of the World Stripe Up Your Life, designed by Stuart Hillard, and it's part of Stylecraft. And this is New Mexico. And I think it's really, really quite a gorgeous colour. So yeah, hopefully I will get this sock finished really, really soon, and then I can cast on for the second one. I tend to try and have something very simple for like work meetings or being in the car, if we're going to be in the car for longer than, I'd say about half an hour. So yeah, hopefully next time you see this it will at least be a half finished object. Okay, so the next project that I have to show off is really something that I needed. Like, I needed to not be purling. I needed colour work. So I don't know if anyone else is the same, in that sometimes you just get the need to do a certain style of project. Whether that's brioche, whether that's garter, whether that's colour work or something. I get it quite a lot when I would like to sway between stockinette in the round or brioche or colour work or has to be crochet. Like, that was what I needed yesterday. I needed crochet. And then last week I needed colour work and to not purl. And so I had a look through the patterns that I already have, and nothing was quite striking a chord with me. And I thought, right, okay, what do I really want? And when I put out a question on my Instagram for people to suggest patterns that don't have much purling, Jen came back and said, oh, what is it? My favourite things cowl. And I have that pattern in my library, and I had a look at it, and I know it's so easy to find colour work charts, like, online. But it wasn't quite what I wanted. I am really feeling the Halloween vibes. I'm really feeling the Wiccan vibes. I'm just really in that space right now. And I looked at all like the Halloween stuff that you could get online, and again, not quite what I wanted, not quite what I needed either. And so I just decided, you know what, let's just cast on and just wing it. Like, let's just go with the flow. We can find charts online, we can chart our own things. Like, I've got, is it graph paper? kind of like graph paper. I can do my own charts, like I can just wing this as I go along. And so I've started with a provisional cast on. I've got stitches on hold because I'm planning a cowl, like probably a double wrap cowl. Excuse me. And I have started. And this is my progress. So my colour work is not brilliant, but it's a lot better than the first attempt, which I ripped out. But here's my happy little pumpkins. And I have put it down for now because I really need to put some planning in place for what I'm going to do next. Like, I've got a couple ideas of like what charts I'm going to work on, but I need to just sit down, chart them out, think about spacing and numbers and all that jazz. And so yeah, I've got a bag full of Jamieson and Smith, Jamieson's Shetland Spindrift, Jamieson's and Smith. I also have Wee County Yarns. I got a ton of their little mini balls in an advent calendar years ago, like these little mini ones, and so I'm finally putting them to use. So some of them are the Super Soft Lamb's Wool, some of them are the JC Rennie or the Unique Shetland, like woolly wools, nice good woolly wools for colour work. And I've got like a ton of them. And then I've got like the bigger Spindrift balls or the Jamieson Smith. And that's what I'm going to work on this pattern. I got some of the grey as well that I'm going to put in. So at the moment it's on hold because I really just need to sit down and chart some things out and just generally maybe put some more organisation into this, because I really just jumped in with both feet, just picked two colours and just started. Put in my happy little pumpkins because, you know, I'm in a witchy, Halloweeny type mood. Where's my needle? Like I say, it's not my best colour work. Like, I sometimes have to do what I'm doing just now, which is catch one of the colours and really give it a good tug so that I'm bringing that colour to the front. But I think with this project, my colour work will get better. Like, I don't do a ton of colour work, but I love it nonetheless. Like, I'm really, really happy with this one. As she is, pulled back in. Now that unit's not going to shut. So this is the Golden Rays cowl, and I am over the moon with my colour work in this project. And yes, there's still an end or two to be woven in. Stop judging me. I'm really, really happy with this colour work. Like, I'm really pleased with how this turned out, but I also know that I also blocked this, so that helps the colour work settle. But I really tried with this colour work. I was very, very careful with my floats. Like, they look really good. And the colour work as well just looks really good. So I know my colour work can be good. Like, I know it can. I just need to keep working at it. And I'm thinking once this is blocked, it will get better. But I also think once I put some pen to paper, put some planning in place, chart the next lot out, and then start working more colour work, it will just also get better. So watch this space. I'm going to have a nice Halloween colour work cowl coming my way shortly, and it is making me happy. Not as happy as my crochet blanket right now, but I genuinely think that once... did I make a boo-boo? No, I didn't. once I've kind of figured out what my next lot of stitches, like my next lot of patterns are going to be, I do think it will get a little bit better. I did make a boo-boo at some point, and I'm trying to cover that up. But I've been using the ladderback jacquard. You can't really see it, and there was one point where I was doing 3 colours, so that was my first time doing 3 colours, because I didn't want to do duplicate stitch, but I might do another row of the pumpkins and then try a duplicate stitch, because I think that's why some of my pumpkins look a bit iffy. That's the best word I can describe it, is iffy. So we'll see. I think duplicate stitch can work, but I wanted to try 3 colour work to see if I could do it, and I'm pretty pleased with the results. Not my best, but considering it was the first try, pretty good. So yeah, you will be seeing my happy little pumpkins again soon. Boring sweater, not had a lick of progress. My West Knit sweater had a little bit of progress, not going to show it off. I've not been working on it again because there's a lot of purling in that project. It's a lot of purling because pretty much every single bit of it has, every single section has purl stitches in it. So that's not had a lick of, well, it's had some progress before I kind of injured my thumb. And then the only other thing I've worked on is cross stitch time. So it's not had a ton of progress, but I'm really, really happy with it. Like, stupidly happy with this progress. Look! He's got his ice cream cone! And a hat! Darth Vader's like chilling. I have missed a tiny section, which I'm really annoyed about because I was trying so hard to get them finished and I thought I had. But I literally have missed the tiniest of tiny sections, and I don't even know if you can see it. You might be able to see it and you're like, you missed a bit. And no, it's not his feet. He's got sand that goes all the way along the bottom, which I'm probably going to do last. So I'm going to squeeze some time in to work on this because I feel like my cross stitch is really just falling to the wayside, and I'm literally just picking it up as like an afterthought to be like, oh, I should probably put some effort into this. And I love this cross stitch project, and I love the fact that it was bought and gifted to me for my birthday by a very dear friend of mine. But it seems like my knitting and stuff always wins. It also doesn't help that it was Tour de Fleece, and so all of my effort was on Tour de Fleece. So hopefully now that Tour de Fleece is over, I can really put my time and effort back into this cross stitch project, because honestly I want to do so much more cross stitch. I've got a ton of like witchy Halloween themed projects just waiting in the wings, but I want to be monogamous when it comes to my cross stitch stuff. So wow, my mouth just decided not to work. I would prefer to only have one cross stitch project on the go at any time. Okay, and so last but by no means least is something I have purchased. I decided to treat myself. Now this has been in my basket, in my watch list on Etsy now for the longest time. And this is from The World in Stitches. They have a website. So if you don't use Instagram, if you don't use Etsy, they do have a website. So it's theworldinstitches.co.uk. and this is the Witch's Hideout cross stitch. It's on 16 count Ada, and the finished results are 7.9 by 7.9 inches. And it's amazing. I really think Deborah would love this. So I have wanted this since forever. Like when I saw it on Etsy, I just knew I had to have it. There's like pops of neon. Like there's some neon orange in there and some really bright magenta. And I just knew that this was something I needed in my life. I have never worked on black Ada before. I am still very new to the cross stitch world. Like, I don't understand some of the terms, like when it's like 2/2, is that like 2 strands to the X? Like, I don't understand the terminology. I don't think I'm ever really gonna move away from Ada. Like, this whole linen thing just scares me a little bit, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, how do you know where your spaces are? Like, I just don't understand. And I've tried to find videos online and I've not been very successful. So if anyone's got any videos online to explain the whole cross stitch terminology, worlds, like, I'd appreciate it, because it's very intimidating. Very intimidating. So I'm not sure if this would be the one I do after the Star Wars Characters Day at the Beach, or some of the much smaller ones I have planned that are from the Witchy Stitcher. I love their stuff. I literally just want to make everything that they have. And I have a plan. They say, literally, probably jinxing themselves. I have a plan, and I want to do one of their big pieces for my friend to cheer her up, but it would probably take me a very long time. But I was looking at the pattern yesterday and I was just like, I know that they would love it. I really want to do it. But it's just one of those things where I'm just like, I need to get better with cross stitch before I could do such a thing. And I also think I'm going to see if my friend could dye me some Ada. So, let's wrap up, because I would like to go get some lunch. It's like 2 p.m. and I'm only just thinking about lunch. I have a lot of projects on the go at the moment, and I'm getting some, not a lot, but I'm getting some anxiety from it. And I also know that I want to cast on a lot more. If I'm being completely honest, I want to be sewing. I want to be making everything. My head is just like going 10 to the dozen, basically being like, you could sew this project, you could crochet this project, you could knit this project, you could cross stitch this project. Why are you not doing this one? We want to make this one. What about that one? What about this one you saw 2 months ago that you've only just remembered about? What about this yarn? This could be this project. And it's never ending in my head. And then I have the body of somebody that's just like, whoa, stop. We need to rest. And it's a really difficult balance for me. Like yesterday, I really accepted the fact I needed to just not do anything. I'm not kidding when I say I spent a lot of yesterday literally lying in my bed listening to an audiobook. Not doing anything. If my migraine was really, really bad, I have my eye mask on. I sleep with an eye mask. The daylight, like in summer in particular, if it wasn't for an eye mask, I'd be up the minute the sun gets up. If I didn't have my eye mask on and I could see daylight, like I knew I had a migraine because the lights were really hurting. Like yesterday afternoon, evening, when it started really wearing off, I found myself just lying in bed, staring out our bedroom window, watching the clouds go by and listening to my audiobook and just picturing the audiobook. And I really needed that. Like, I was finally not beating myself up, being like, you could be making, you could be doing this, you could be doing that, you're wasting a day. I didn't do that for the first time in a long time. But now that I feel better, my brain is kicked back in. And it's just right there. Being like, right, you have 3 sweaters. Get them finished. You have started another crochet blanket. Get that done. You've got the crochet blanket for your mum. Why is that not being done? You want to sew all the garments. Like, you really want to get back into sewing because maybe you want to sew your wedding dress. Oh, this is very rambly. Apologies. But I know there's probably somebody out there that also feels the exact same way. And so, on one hand, I have too many projects and it's giving me anxiety. On the other hand, I have not enough projects, not enough variation, and I want to throw in some sewing. I want to throw in trying to make the flowers for my bouquet. I want to make Halloween things. I want to do a ton of cross stitch. I'm like, my creative side is screaming to get out. And my head is like, put the brakes on, you got enough to get through. And then my anxiety is just being like, you have too much to work on. My chronic illness is like, I need to rest. I don't want to do anything. So that's currently the state of my brain. But I'm getting there, slowly but surely. I am, as I mentioned earlier, I've done some overtime. That money is going towards Perth Festival of Yarn, which really is not that far away. I'm not doing overtime this week, but I might do it on Sunday because Scott does kind of like rotational shifts, and every 3rd week he has to work 1 day of the weekend, and it's always a Sunday. So I might put a couple of hours in for Sunday, and then I might do more overtime the week after because we only have so many weeks that they're giving us overtime, and I don't want to waste it, but I also know for a fact that that's like the 2 weeks of overtime I've done is probably why I had a migraine. So yeah, Perth Festival of Yarn is coming up. There was a festival this weekend that I was on the hedge about going to. I wouldn't have had the money to buy anything, and it would have been a pain to get through to, and it turns out anyway, like my migraine and everything. Trying to think what else. Haha. I am making a sweater for my mum. My mama bear, hi mum, has fallen in love, and let me get the name of the pattern. It's the new Stephen West one. Oh god, I'm in the wrong file. There we go. So my mum has fallen in love with the Garter Marler cardigan, and I have decided that I am going to blog it, but I'm going to do something a wee bit different. So the hopes is to have it finished for Christmas. We will see how that works. I know she won't mind if it's not quite ready for Christmas time. And she has given 1 skein of yarn towards it. So my plan is that that's all she's going to know. She's only going to know there's that 1 skein of yarn in this project. I am going to blog it, but I'm going to compile all of the files, like all the video footage, and I'm going to hold on to it. So I'm going to blog out through the whole making process of the Garter Marler. gartered marler. I've already forgotten the name. I'm going to vlog the whole process and then keep the files. And once I've finished it and she has gotten it, then I'm going to put it up on YouTube. Because I don't want to show off on the blog, vlog, podcast, whatever we're calling this, and she sees it. I want it to be a surprise. And even when I'm gonna have her try it on. I'm gonna, at some point when it gets to a certain point in the sweater cardigan, I'm gonna have her try it on. She's gonna have to wear like an eye mask, close her eyes, something, because I don't want her to see it. I want it to be a surprise. So yeah, that is future making list. And I'm actually gonna probably head upstairs after this. I have so many plans: lunch, crochet, but I need to go pick out the yarn. So we're probably going to head upstairs. I did say we are going to head upstairs because you are coming with me, and we're going to start picking out the yarn to start the garter marler cardigan from my mum. And you will not see it in a typical podcast, but you will see it all in one big finished video in a couple of months, maybe. But yeah, I think I've been rambling on far too long now. I don't think I've got anything else to show. I'm probably missing something that I've worked on. Who knows? I don't take notes. I've not done my... what was I calling it? Like my diary of projects? I've not done that all year. I don't know what happened. I was having so much fun with it. I was buying so many really pretty stickers. I was really enjoying that. Words literally on the tip of my tongue. What did I call it? It's on my YouTube. Like that thing I was doing. Seriously, why can't I think what that word is? Journal. My crafting journal. I haven't done that all year. Like, I was doing so well. I was really keeping a record of all the projects, samples of the yarn, photographs, taking notes of anything I'd done to like alter it. I haven't done that all year, and I'm really kind of gutted by that because I also haven't been taking a lot of photographs of my work. So even if I was to try and go back to January and start recording it, I don't have the photos or anything like that to help me document when I done things, how long it took me to do them. Although I stopped kind of recording the length of the project. But yeah, I'm hoping I can pick that back up next year. I don't see the point in starting now, not in August. Isn't that terrifying? We're already in August. But yeah, rambled on too much. I will get a couple of clips of some of my really awesome spooky pieces that I've got around the house. And most of them, if you're curious, have came from TK Maxx, which if you're in America is TJ Maxx. And I wish we had more selection. I really do. America really knocks it out of the park when it comes to anything Halloween, and I would be in my element right now if I could go into any of the shops in America for Halloween stuff, because I'd also be broke ass poor. Let's face it. I hope you have enjoyed watching and listening to me ramble on and got a kick out of me having a really fun ass brain to deal with. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you're working on. Do you have the same kind of brain process that I do, where it's currently just on the fritz? I'm gonna go make some lunch. I'm then gonna go start picking out the yarn for the garter marler. Why is that so hard to say? Cardigan. And then I'm going to edit. I'm gonna crochet. I'm gonna listen to my audiobook. I'm going to do all the things and probably not get many of them done. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay safe. That is Scots. To be fair, most of what's on this is Scots, apart from my wee Halloween things.